Hi there and welcome to Techopia. Thank you very much for joining us. We are here at SaaS North and yet again, just continuing the conversation with some great people. We're going to step into the next phase now, which is a little bit about the money. We just had a company that was talking about getting into market and being part of an accelerator. But here with me today, I have JF, which is a managing partner with White Star Capital. Now, what's interesting about your fund per se, it is a foreign fund or international global fund, so to speak, because it's both New York, London, and of course Montreal. And you have teams and partners in these, and you help companies go global. I think that's a quick little summary of what I know. But I'll let you kind of dive a little bit into more about what White Star Fund is and give us a little bit of background behind the organization itself.
Of course. Pleased to be here. So essentially, White Star, I co-founded White Star. I'm based in Montreal, Canada. But my belief was that I wanted to be a VC investor, but also pick companies in different geographies and help those companies scale globally and for example, go to the Valley. So you don't have to pick winners in the Valley. You just have to pick the right teams, the right companies in markets that are relatively underserved relative to the Valley from an investment standpoint, as long as you help them go there and establish there and get clients. So I'm based in Montreal, but we have, as you said, teams in New York, London, and Paris. We're active in all those cities. We mainly invest at what we call the Series A phase, which means that companies have some revenues, have demonstrated some product market fit, and need marketing dollars to scale globally, or build sales team, marketing presence, and this is where we get in, and this is where we bring most synergies to our businesses with the mentality of scaling globally. So at the moment, we have a portfolio of about 20 companies, once again across in Europe, London, Paris, in Berlin, here, Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa, as well as New York. So there's a big value in the network as well, making sure our founders in Canada are in contact with the founders in the US and in London and Paris, exchanging best practices, and that is actually, it's a lot of value add for our entrepreneurs.
Of course. So I love that you bring that international experience, and it's not just we are taking you there, we are there, we are established there, we know the markets there, we know the people, that how your product can be expanded in those markets. So I think that's a wonderful aspect of what your company provides. Maybe you could share with us a little bit. I mean, you must have a variety of companies come to you and say, yes, we want to work with you guys. For yourself, what do you feel is maybe a key aspect of companies that you like to work with? I mean, you just mentioned some revenues, some product market fit, but one of if you think of some of the companies that you have that you're working with at the moment, what is one of the characteristics or criteria that they have shown you that you've really was a key winning feature and working with them and also as allowing them to succeed?
Good question. So because of our investment thesis, if I may say, we really look at the team, but we look at the team from an angle of selecting founders that have either studied internationally, worked abroad, managed Canadian companies, but that grew globally. So we really focus on the ability of the founding team or entrepreneur to at least sell its product, its software on a global basis. So the way that individual present, the network of a given individual. So for us, all the background, as much as in terms of how successful. I mean, often we have serial entrepreneurs, so obviously that's better. People that have done it, or people that have done it as a number 2 or 3 of a successful startup. So we look at the background and the history of the management team and the founders. We look at we like to invest in teams, not only like CEOs. So we look at the core founding team. Often it's 2, 3 co-founders, and we make sure that they're all very different, all very complementary in their background. We believe in that there's a high correlation between complementary teams and success. So we don't like one-man show usually. And then it's evidence of product market fit, which for a software company means a few clients, but more importantly, it means are the client engaged with the product? Have you been able to land clients but expand your clients? So we look at all those data points at a low scale, even if it's companies with MRR of 50,000, 100,000. We look at the story behind each and every client, how they were acquired, and again, expansion potential with the clients. Are they engaged? Do they come in? Do they use the product, and so on and so forth? So that's also quite an important aspect for us. And then it's a game in the SaaS space, as you know. It's we have a pretty clinical approach. So we look at unit economics. So for us, it's all a game of, okay, if we inject $5-10 million of marketing dollars, is this going to be a profitable business in not immediately, but in 3 to 4 years? So does it work from a gross margin standpoint? So there's a lot of factors we look at.
Wonderful. No, I think, it's so important to have such a, if you can invest that much money, and especially, as you say, from a marketing perspective, so scaling them to the next level, it's so important to have a really in-depth process of how you pick your companies. Maybe I should ask you, being in Canada and Montreal, and especially in the SaaS space as well. We're sitting here today in Ottawa, and SaaS North is here because the people that are here, our Spark that are here, they truly believe that our city is really expanding and growing, but not just our city, our country on a SaaS perspective, on a technology perspective it's always been up there, but I think it's really stepped up to the plate on another level. So for yourself, working with partners in New York and or London, do you feel that is a common consensus? That's how everybody feels? Do you think we would need to work a little bit harder to make the world know that there's some awesome companies here?
Yeah, we certainly feel that way. As a fund manager, we also have investors across 2 funds, and I can tell you with certainty that this great momentum in Canada is also attracting interest from abroad. So as a fund, we've welcomed investors from several countries in Asia, the UK, France, and there's a lot of interest globally for Canada. So it's not just us as Canadians that believe that there's something going on with the market. So there's really incredible momentum, and it has to do, as you know, with the recent success of some SaaS businesses, mainly in Ottawa, to be honest, which is quite amazing. But it's also a question of what's going on the artificial intelligence side of things with the researchers and that we have at UFT and McGill and University of Montreal. So that all AI boom is just amazing for the country. So it's attracting a lot of foreign capital, which I find is very positive for companies, and it's also bringing capital into the local VCs that have more money to deploy. So it's what we need is a bit more a few more big outcomes, companies that are doing really well, similar to Shopify. We need a few more to really get there, but it's looking great.
Okay, awesome. That's always good to hear. So thank you so much, Jeff, for your time here today. Congratulations on your portfolio of companies as well. We look forward in seeing you more frequently, not just here in Ottawa, but we hear a lot more about your fund and, of course, the great things that you guys are up to. So thank you so much. So once again, you're watching Techopia. I'm here today with JF, which is the managing partner of White Star Capital. They are an international fund that is supporting companies to go global on whole other levels. So thank you so much for your time today. Great to have you. Thank you.